Welcome back to another FlexPBX Smart PBX training video. Today we're going to look at groups. Groups is a collective of users. This allows you to have an extension number that can be used to call a group of people. To create a group, let's click on Add Group. You then name your group. We're just going to call this one Demo 1 and we're going to give it an extension number. This must be a unique extension number and cannot be the same as a user. If your users are using extensions in a 3-digit format, for example 100, 101, 102, etc., then we would suggest you select an extension range that is not going to clash with your users. In this example, I'm going to use the 9000 range, that is 9101. Then select which users you'd like in that group. Simply drag and drop. Once you've done this, click Create Group. You'll then see our new group has been created. To change the settings, click on Demo 1. This allows you to rename it. So if we wanted to rename this to Demo 9101, simply rename and click Save Changes. If you wish to add, remove, or modify any of the users within that group, simply click on where the number is. This shows the number of current users in that group. From here, you can add or remove a user. To remove a user, click the Remove button on the right-hand side. To add a user, click the plus Add User button, select the users, and then click Save Changes. You can also change how long each user rings for. Again, we're going to select where it says the number of users in the group, and then change how long each person rings for. In this example, Gary and Jeff are going to ring from 0 to 30 seconds. Let's drag these out to 30 seconds. And if they don't answer after 10 seconds, then John and Scott are going to start ringing for the remainder of that time. Once you've made these changes, remember to click Save Changes. It's as easy as that. You can change the extension at any time as well, remembering that an extension is just a number and is not tied to this. You can also assign multiple extensions to the group. This is really useful if you're combining groups, splitting groups, or moving people from one group to another. You can add a direct in-dial to a group. This is really useful if you have a group of people and you advertise an external number. For example, a promotion on a flyer. You can have all of the calls for that promotional number go to a group of people. Like numbers, you can also prepend to that number. This will then show up on the phone when that person calls. For instance, Promo 1. Let's go and add a number. To add the number, select Add from Spare Numbers, select your spare number, add selected numbers, click Save Changes. If you want to make a prepend to that number so that you know who's called it or the specific value, select the cog, prepend, and you can change it here. So this might be your promo. Let's call this one Promo 1. When someone now calls, on the screen it will show up Promo 1. You then know exactly who they've called and what they're calling about. This is also useful if you have a sales team and you wish it to show sales, for instance, on the phone, or marketing. You can see down here we have a marketing team, and on that group we already have a caller ID prepend. You can set a prepend on a number or a group. These are two separate prepends. This is really useful if you assign a number to an existing group. For example, you have a promotional number that gets assigned to the sales group. The number itself may have a prepend, as well as the group. The sales group may have a prepend called sales, whereas the number may say the promo. To add a prepend to the group, let's have a look at the group features. This is the last column here. Caller ID prepend, enable, and you can use here a caller ID name prefix. So in here you might put in Group 1 and click Save. We now have a prepend on the group, Demo 9101, and a prepend if someone specifically calls that number. If someone internally just calls the group, or if one of your call flows just calls the group, it will just show this one here, Group 1. The next thing we're going to look at is the next action. This is, if someone calls the group, what is the next action that it will take? For instance, do you want it to go back to your main menu? Do you want it to go to someone's mailbox? Or would you like it to forward to an individual user? This is really useful if you want to have an external number come into a group, and if no one answers, go back to your main menu, or go to someone's specific mailbox. If you don't want to use this feature, simply leave it disabled. Ring back. This relates to what the caller hears when they are transferred or they call this group. So ringback is talking about whether they hear a ringtone or whether they may hear a marketing message when they call you. Select ringback, enable it, and then you can choose what they're going to hear. They may hear a hold message, they may hear silence. It's up to you. If you leave it disabled, they will simply hear the default ring when they are either transferred or call that number directly. If you have specific marketing messages, you can then upload them by using the upload function, browse for your file, and upload it. Files need to be in WAV, 8-bit, mono, or MP3 format to be used on the system. We'll do another video about file formats in a later stage. The allow call forward means that you can call forward from within the group. You can see here enabling this option if you want to allow the group's users to press their device forward button from this ring group. If this is disabled, then the user's forwarding functions will be ignored. If it is enabled, then the user's settings will apply to the group. We covered this as part of our users video as well. Make sure to go back and watch that if you've got any questions. Well, that's it for our groups video. If you have any questions, please make sure to check out our online documentation or other videos.